OTAs are officially in the books. 2 weeks down, Sean Payton cut short 3 weeks of OTAs, only made it 2, and now we are preparing for mandatory minicamp that starts next week where everyone will be there. Today we're going to break down what it looked like in week 2's, what week 2 of OTAs, what was the takeaway, where are we going forward, and what running back is on the roster bubble with the potential of bringing in J.K. Dobbins. We got a lot to talk about today, so I appreciate you guys all coming in and joining in for another episode of Orange and Blue Blitz Morning Show.
Tune in, now it's time to sit. Orange and blue, we never quit. Broncos Fridays, lit legit. Every week we're bringing grit. Orange and blue, we bring the heat. Podcast grinding can't be beat. Every play, every style we meet. Blitz so hard it's on repeat. My high dreams we elevate. Break it down, we narrate. From the field to the fan debate. Broncos Country, we dominate. We got the passion, we got the drive. Orange and blue keeps us alive. Every tackle, every stride. It's the Blitz where legends thrive.
Everyone give a round of applause for the Mile High Viking, Johnny Baki, for making that excellent new intro video. As you guys saw yesterday, we had an old one with old clips, but Johnny and his hard work got right to work on it, and he had it done by today, and that is an excellent, excellent intro video. So shout out and round of applause to Jonathan Harris and Baki. Well done, Johnny. Well done. Excellent intro video. Thank you guys for coming in to another episode of the Orange and Blue Blitz Morning Show. And I see right off the bat, we have a new name. First time on this podcast, David Yunkin. Cheers. We're going to welcome to the Orange and Blue crew. We're going to go ahead and cheers you. We cheers every new guest. So we appreciate you, David, coming in and immediately getting started in the comments. Guys, this is how you lead by example. This is how you come in and you talk ball. David, you're an excellent welcome. Welcome to the show. We love to have you here. We can't wait to hear more from you. But before we get into the show, guys, we have to make sure that if you are from MHRT, you go ahead and head on over to the Orange and Blue Network. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video, go on Facebook and follow us, and comment in the comment section as David has already done. You guys know you guys drive the show, and you guys drive the comment section. We love you guys. We are here for you guys. So go ahead and over if you're from MHRT, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with your friends and family. And if you are here from the Orange and Blue crew, you already know the deal. It should already be done. But go ahead over to MHRT, who we are in partnership with, as you saw in the introduction. Go to their YouTube video, subscribe to their channel, go to their Twitter, follow, Facebook, Twitch, all the same. And hit the notification bell for both networks because we have a ton of videos coming out from both sides that you're not going to want to miss. Because coming up, me and Johnny were talking about today, we have a 6-week window after mandatory minicamp, the worst off-season window ever. Ever. They need something to fill that time. But while there's nothing to fill that time, we are here to fill that time. And we need you guys to fill that time in the comment section. So you're going to want to hit that notification bell because while there's going to be no Broncos news, you guys can always tune in to us because we're going to be talking about something. So guys, welcome in. Let's see. Holy Diver, what's up? Holy Diver. All right, guys. OTAs came out. OTAs are over. We got the videos, we got the pictures, we got the press conferences we want. I wanted to have clips of the press conferences and certain things that we want to talk about, but I didn't have that prepared today, so that's on me. But I'm pretty sure you guys have all seen them. They've been beaten by a dead horse by every other show out there. They've all talked about it, and we're just going to go ahead again. We're going to grab this bat. We're going to beat the horse a little bit more, just in case it wasn't dead enough. So OTAs ended. Well, next year too. J.K. Dobbins was coming in for a visit, and David Yunkin comes in and he says the same thing that everybody else has been saying. My concern is the running back room. And I think that's Sean Payton's concern as well. And I think that's why they brought in J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins, as we talked about yesterday, and as everybody's talked about, he's a power back. He's got good vision, and when it's money, I think he was the best running back in the league when it came to stack boxes and yards per carry. So we know he can get through a muddy water situation and get some yards if we need to. He does not fumble. He can catch the ball out the backfield, and he's a great pass protector. So I think this is just a good fit all around. People are worried about his health concerns, as they should, because, he hasn't been healthy a full season. Last season was the most games he played. It was a career high for touchdowns, games played, and rushing yards. So he finished the season healthy, and so now he comes into Denver healthy, and he's not going to be a workhorse. Sean Payton does not have a bell cow running back. Coincidentally, J.K. Dobbins came from both Harbaugh systems, the Ravens and the Chargers, who were both heavy run teams, and he was supposed to be the bell cow. He does not have to be that here with Sean Payton. He can be the fresh back, and he can be a package back, or he can be a specific back who does specific jobs. And I think that that's going to improve. Holy Diver says, honestly, I feel last year Payton simply didn't run the ball, and when he did, it was with Javonte, who was not good. Yes, and I think, and here's the deal, is that Payton himself is not a run-it-how offense. He wants to tote the rock. That's how Drew Brees became a Hall of Famer. He wants to throw the pill. And that's great. I love that. That's why he drafted Bo Nix. But what makes it worse is when you're not a run-first coach, you're not a run-first offense, which is fine. But when you do run it, you don't have any production whatsoever. So now you're strictly one-dimensional. You can't even set up the pass. You can't even throw to set up the run. You can't even run and throw, set up the pass. You just have to pass. And I think that's going to be different this year with R.J. Harvey. And I think with possibly another veteran running back like J.K. Dobbins. But we're going to get more depth in that. I don't think it's going to be a longer show like usual. We'll see where it goes. But OTA observations. One of the observations that was popping up all over the timeline, and I tweeted this yesterday. And if you guys follow me at Bronco Gentleman on Twitter, I tweeted this yesterday. I don't think we're talking about Devon Bailey enough, but I think that's changing. And when I sat there and I thought about it, last year in OTAs and offseason, Bailey had such a good offseason as a rookie that Tim Patrick got traded. He produced and showed that much that Sean Payton said, we're good enough with Bailey. We're going to go ahead and let Patrick go. So then in this offseason, everybody's talking about Troy Franklin's big jump, and Sean Payton talked about it. Everybody's talking about Marvin Mims in year 3. Everybody's talking about the route technician of Pat Bryant. But one who kind of slid under the radar was Devon Bailey, and that's probably because he's an older guy. We expect his ceiling to be lower, but his floor to be higher. We don't expect much production out of him. We didn't think he could improve as much. But it seems as if he's silently working under the radar to the point where you cannot deny it now. That's where it seems that Devon Bailey is at, where he is turning out to be solidified wide receiver 2. Because I'm just hearing play after play. He's gotten better at route running. He knows the playbook better. And you're starting to see Sean Payton's genius come through when he says, I'm confident in this wide receiver group, more confident than most people, including the fan base. And I think that's because that year 2 jump, a year 2 jump is different when you have the franchise quarterback. Because you have, and especially with the receiver, because, just harkening back to Jerry Jeudy, although Jerry Jeudy's doing great in Cleveland, we did not have a consistent play caller, nor did we have a consistent system. So there was that year 2 jump was harder to make. So if you're like a receiver, Jerry Jeudy, first round, 15th pick, it's hard to produce consistently when there's a quarterback competition every year and there's a new play caller every year. So in Broncos country, we've been robbed of year 2 jumps. Off the top of my head, maybe before George Payton, maybe before George Payton, I think I could say it's hard to find someone who made a year 2 jump. I actually know Quinn Miners. That was George Payton. It's actually hard to think of someone who made a year 2 jump. But since George Payton has come in and his draft picks have all made jumps, Quinn Miners, Pat Surtain, Riley Moss, Nick Benito, and all these guys. So on the offensive side of the ball, a year to jump by receivers foreign. But when you have a consistent play caller in Sean Payton and a consistent quarterback in Bo Nix, like Bo Nix said, you can spend the offseason sharpening up your mechanics and your fundamentals because you know the playbook, you understand the playbook. These installs are easier. So now you have someone like Devon Bailey who understands the system more, who understands his role, who worked on what they told him to work on, and then he comes back and now it's producing. And so you got another big body receiver who may run better routes than Cortland on the outside, who may end up taking that Z spot. So I think that's something that has raised a little bit more of excitement for me because I wasn't really looking in Bailey's direction. But now I'm like, okay, if it sounds like Cortland Sutton and Bailey are going to be the two main body receivers, the two base receivers, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, then I'm willing to start wrapping my head around that. As we know, week 1 last year, Bailey had 8 targets, 8 receptions. Now I think he only had like 40-something yards, but still, he showed himself to be reliable. When the ball's on his way, he'll catch it. Now I think in regards to injury concerns, I think that's why Pat Bryant was drafted. Some of the reports we're getting out of OTAs is Pat Bryant. He's getting a lot of reps. And he's rotating as at least what they saw. He's with the 3s mostly, with the 2s sometimes. So he's getting a lot of reps and he's rotating. And I think he's another development receiver, but he's also depth. Because you remember, Bailey went 8 targets for 8 receptions, I think, in Seattle, but then he got injured and was out 4 weeks. So it's kind of tough when you have, okay, we have this new 7th-round guy who's extremely reliable, but then he got injured immediately for 4 weeks. And then Josh Reynolds got injured as well, so then there was that. So now you bring in Pat Bryant, who's depth. And I think Pat Bryant's definitely going to be more for Pat's guy and more for the preseason. Definitely for the preseason. So Devon Bailey was definitely a name that popped up on the radar. Him and Cortland Sutton seem to have great chemistry with Bo and the offense, and they seem to be the 2 leading guys. Quickly, I'm going to switch over to defense before we jump back into offense. Couple of things we heard, and DJ Jones spoke about in his press conference as well, were the 2 rookies, Savion Jones and Q Robinson. And DJ Jones himself said in the press conference, Savion Jones is going to be special. And the first thing he brought up when speaking of Savion Jones is the same thing that you see when you first look at him on tape or in person, is his length. His length, the ability to get the offensive line off and to be able to see where the play is going. So it's going to be harder for an offensive lineman or offensive guard to get hands on him because it's like boxing. It's like if you have a shorter arm length and you're boxing someone who has a longer arm length. The way for you to do damage is you have to close the distance. That's beneficial for an offensive lineman. But if you're the lengthy boxer, you want to keep your distance. You want to use your reach to maintain distance. Savion Jones has that ability. And I've heard some people say he reminds them of Midlake Jackson. I think his length, I know they played similar positions, they played the same position in college, but now the NFL is going to be different. His length reminds me of Carlos Dunlap. That's the comp I get when I see his length, is that it reminds me of Carlos Dunlap. But he seems to be competition for, what would you call it? Defensive end 3, because it's Zach Allen, Franklin Myers, and I guess defensive end 3, because you have Jordan Jackson and Wazirike. But from what I'm hearing, Savion Jones is making a push for that to actually be the backup, and potentially if JFM doesn't get a contract, to be a starter. So he's out there creating pressures from the interior. He was going against the 2s. I think they said he was going against the 2s, and I think they said he was going against the 3s as well. But we have good depth. So that's good to hear from that. And the other one that I heard that was absolutely blowing it up on the defensive side of the ball was also Q Robinson. I heard he was just tearing it up, where play after play after play after play after play. I know he's going to be a special teams ace, a four core special teamer. But I just find it interesting with Jonah Ellis still recovering from his surgery. So Jonah Ellis was on the side field, as well as Dre Greenlaw, as well as PJ Locke. But Jonah Ellis was on the side field practicing. And so now the backup edge rushers are Dondre Tillman and Q Robinson. And Q Robinson is, I don't think Jonah Ellis's spot is in danger because Jonah Ellis has had an excellent rookie year, and something that's not talked about is Jonah Ellis is the youngest rookie to have 5 sacks. I think in NFL history, I think 21, and he had 5 sacks. So I don't think his spot is in jeopardy. I don't think his spot is in jeopardy, but it's interesting to see that this depth is so good that we have guys producing on every level. David says, actually, Holy Diver says, honestly, I feel like, yeah, we went over this. David says, this season, Bo can't be the leading rusher. He will get hurt. Yes. And I think that's going to be the difference between Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels got a little bit hurt last year. Had to miss time. Did he miss time? I know he got hurt. Bo's also smart when it comes to how he uses his body when he runs. But for a fact, Sean Payton wants him to stay in the pocket. He doesn't want him running like that. And he cannot be the leading rusher like that. Unless there's some design runs, regardless, he can't be the leading rusher in any game. If you're bringing in J.K. Dobbins and you drafted a second-round rookie running back, Bo Nix cannot be the leading rusher. Johnny says, I've been high on Vele, even picked him as my breakout star when I was on Broncos Media Battles. Yes, guys, you guys remember Johnny on Mile High Viking on Broncos Media Battles? Then you would have heard him say Vele is the breakout star. And it's seeming to be that way, that he is the breakout star. 858 touchdowns is a breakout season. That's wide receiver 2 by far, behind Cortland Sutton, because I think Cortland Sutton has the potential to put up like 1,400 yards this year. But yes, he's definitely the breakout guy. And if you can have a reliable guy with hands who's got improved route running as your wide receiver 2, then this team is starting to form. Holy Diver says, Q Robinson could be the reason we let Benito go after the season along with Ellis and Tillman. That's a big take. Because in my opinion, I don't think one guy is going to make us get rid of 3. Because not only are you getting rid of your starter, but you're also getting rid of your depth. So I don't think if you get rid of Nick Benito, you'd say Q Robinson is the starter. So you got Q Robinson and Jonathan Cooper. Oh, no, you're saying let Benito go along after the season, along with Ellis and Tillman. So they're not letting go of Ellis and Tillman. Ellis and Tillman are the depth, but Benito's the starter. I got you. Sorry. Possibly, because there's so much productive depth. At edge. There's a possibility, but I don't think so. I think Nick Benito's never started from beginning to end in one season. He's either been injured or he's come off the bench. Even last year, Baron Browning started. Nick Benito didn't start. Yet he finished with 13.5 sacks, DPOY candidate, and 2 huge pick sixes. I don't think they're going to get rid of Nick Benito for a potential rookie. I just don't see that. I just don't see that. But I do think that if he were to threaten someone's position, I think it would be DeAndre Tillman. Because Q Robinson is strong, he can seal the edge like Tillman. Ellis is more finesse. So, and I know DeAndre Tillman was signed from the UFL. I don't know if he was signed as an undrafted free agent. So I don't know if his contract is different or if he still has those 4 years or if it's different. But I think if Q were to threaten anyone, it would probably be Tillman. Now, the question is, if Ellis doesn't stay healthy, then Ellis is the man on the block. Johnny says Benito ain't going anywhere. I don't think so. I think go ahead and sign him for $20 million. If you want to do an in-season extension and it goes up to $25 million, by all means. But I think sign him $20 million now. That's actually going to be one of the topics after mandatory minicamp next week that we're going to talk about. Is we're going to have a show going over who's going to get paid, because we got to fill that time somehow. And I think in between mandatory minicamp and training camp is when the contracts are going to go out. So I think one of the first episodes is who's going to get paid, what their contract is going to be, and we're going to see who is the closest. Now, we went over defense. Paul Schaefer says RJ plus JK equals SB. I agree. And I think And it's hard for Broncos country to imagine because we haven't had a good run game, good quarterback play, and I'm going to throw tight end in there as well in a very, very long time. So it's hard to imagine an offense where they have to respect it, the run game, and where Bo Nix has the ability to tear them apart. But I think the run game and Evan Ingram's going to help with Bo, and the only way we get to the Super Bowl is the run game has to improve, the defense has to stay healthy, and Bo Nix has to improve at man coverage, throwing against man coverage. Now against zone, Bo Nix will tear you apart against zone. But I think that has to do with the separator. I think it's easy with the safety and man coverage when you don't have a run game and you don't have tight end play. So I think that a run game, in addition to elite tight end play, will make Bo Nix that much better and improve in man coverage. Because it's hard to throw against man coverage when the only person you have to guard man and man is Cortland Sutton. So that's going to change this year. Okay, so moving to offense. So we talked about Bailey, we talked about Q, we talked about Savion. Now there's we heard about RJ Harvey last week, and I'll touch on that a little bit. But the one that I want to bring up, there's two that I want to bring up today. Marvin Mims and Troy Franklin. Now, from what I've heard and what they've reported, is Marvin Mims is extremely confident, and it's showing in his receiver abilities, and it's showing on film. Not on film, I'm sorry, and it's showing on the field. And the coaches are noticing it. Sean Payton brought up, he said, yeah, you can see his confidence, and confidence is born from demonstrated ability. And he's a lot more confident. So it seems like the wide receiver room in OTAs is starting to shape up. It seems like it's Sutton, Bailey, and Mims. And I'm okay with that three wide receiver core because you got big body wide receiver who can catch downfield, catch sideline, make crazy catches, but he can also run the over routes and he can also run the dig routes. And he's really good at that. One of the best in the league at that. You got Bailey, who his type of style isn't necessarily perfected yet, and we don't know his position, but it seems like he's going to be another Z guy who can go from mainly outside the numbers, but also in the slot. But if he's going to be that Z, then he's got his position. And then Marvin Mims, who can line up in the backfield, who can line up in the slot, who can line up in the boundary. He can catch tunnel screens. He can catch jets. He can take handoff for jet sweeps. He can do wheel routes out the backfield. He can run deep routes. He's really, and I see why CC calls him Baby, or they call him Baby Joker, because yeah, he can do it all a little bit. So that's one thing that I think Marvin Mims is an X factor on offense in addition to the running back room and to the tight end room, because Marvin Mims isn't your typical receiver. And it's hard for even Broncos country to pin him down. So I think Marvin Mims is going to start off this season hot. And that's not like 150 yards for the first 4 games. But I mean, he's going to be all over the place, and he's going to be a threat. And I think this year he's going to have to be the ones where teams are like, okay, well, where's he lining up? Because he's fast. He runs a 4.3, and he has excellent hands and excellent focus on the ball. Look in the ball, and I can't believe I'm blanking out on the terminology. He has good eye focus on the ball where he can catch it, as we saw last year. So I think he's going to turn out to be a really, 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 really good weapon. And it seems like he's turning into that. He can go, we saw him, he can catch downfield, out the backfield. He can really do anything, actually. He can line up actually anywhere because he can line up outside the numbers. Because if you remember, Sean Payton's first year with Russell Wilson, Marvin Mims would catch deep balls when he was outside the number. He would just burn the corner. So he can line up in the slot, he can line up outside, he can line up in the backfield. And I think that creativity is only going to expand, and especially with Evan Ingram. And so the second one I want to talk about is Troy Franklin. So from what I've heard, Troy Franklin is a tunnel screen guy. He's going to be a mesh guy. So they're really taking him that short and intermediate routes. Sean Payton said that one of his strengths is yak and run after catch when he has the ball in his hands, because he's got Marvin Mims' speed, but he's got Pat Bryant size, 6'2", 6'3", 195. And so it seems like after year one, the vision for the receiving group is starting to come together, and they're starting to understand their duties and responsibilities and their strengths and weaknesses and what they're at. And it seems like Sean Payton is actually now starting to implement that. So he brought in Evan Ingram and said, hey, I want you to work on your vertical threat. And he said, Troy Franklin's going to work on it underneath. Cortland Sutton has the go routes and the dig routes. So you're starting to see the offense starting to shape. So you got, Franklin and Mims with, Mims can do anything. So Mims is out the backfield slot, whatever, but you got Franklin coming underneath. You got Bailey running slants, and you got Troy Franklin going deep and running underneath routes, and you got Sutton going deep, and you got RJ Harvey catching wheel routes. So we're definitely going to see a dynamic Sean Payton offense. D-Rock in the house says, Bailey, hooray. Like I said, the last 2 weeks, up until this, we weren't talking about Bailey, but now I think Broncos Country has gotten it. Now we're on the board, and now we're like, Bailey. And I love it. And he's earned it. And I'm interested. I can't wait to hear from him and see how he's progressed, what he's improved on. They said he's put on some muscle, and you can definitely look at him and tell. And so it seems like a lot of people, after their first year in the NFL, they say, okay, time to put on some muscle. Paul says, no, Q's a special teams guy for at least 2 years. We have 5 or 6 really good special teams guys. Yes, I think he's and I think that's what I think about this a lot. I think our special teams, even though it's been top 3 the last couple seasons, I think our special teams is going to be insanely good this year. Because you drafted guys like Q Robinson, who's a special teams ace. You guys got guys like Savion Jones. And not to mention, a bunch of our starters from last year will be playing special teams. So you got PJ Locke, you got Justin Sternad, and so you have Damari Mathis, Chris Abrams-Drain, Q Robinson, Savion Jones, Trent Sherfield, Sam, the safety we signed, Sam, whatever his name is. So you have all these, plus the guys from special teams last year. Drew Sanders too. So we've got a beefy, good coverage team, a really, really good coverage team. And not to mention, we have an absolute punter who can boot it. And so Will Lutz got some stuff to work on. I got my beef with Will Lutz. But I won't talk about Will Lutz. Johnny says, can we talk for a second about RJ's hands out of the backfield? This kid is going to be special. Now, there was a play yesterday. I think they said it would have been like a 50 to 70-yard touchdown. So apparently there's a play where Bo Nix was pressured by Nick Bonito. I think he kind of sidearmed it, threw it off his back foot, and it was a pass to RJ Harvey out of the backfield. I don't know if they said it was a seam or it was a wheel route. And they said it had beautiful touch, and RJ caught it, and it would have been a huge touchdown. And they said the one before that was Jalil. So the 2 speeding running backs coming out of the backfield, and yes, it seems as if RJ Harvey has good soft hands, what they said he does, and it seems like he has no issue with catching. It's just that they didn't use him at UCF. Now, I think if I had to predict knowing Sean Payton, because everybody knows Sean Payton always wants to be the smartest guy in the room, and he wants to prove everybody wrong while simultaneously proving himself right. D-Rock is absolutely correct. Traymon Smith will be missed on special teams. Yeah, he will. That dude was good. If I had to guess, the first play to RJ Harvey in the preseason is probably going to be a screen. If I had to guess, Sean Payton probably wants to show off to the NFL that my new running back can break a screen open for 75 yards. If I had to guess. So Troy Franklin, Sean Payton said he's been impressive. And Sean Payton said himself, he said, you guys haven't been here to be able to see it. But he's made a lot of explosive plays. So it sounds like he's really taking that off-season workout program seriously, taking the critiques and the improvements seriously, and he's really focused in and honed it in. And I'm curious to see how they're going to use him. I know Sean Payton likes to do certain player games, so I'm curious if he's going to have a preseason or a drive strictly for Troy Franklin. But the last one I want to cover is actually, let me look at something. Johnny said he made something. I want to see. Bingo, love it. I see it, Johnny. But the last one I want to talk about was there was an interception thrown in practice by Bo Nix. That's fine. Well, the starting quarterback, don't care. But it was by Talanoa Hufanga, who stepped up. I think they said it was an over route. Yeah, it was an over route. And, Talanoa Hufanga did what he did, and he stepped up and he picked it off. Now, they said it might have been called back because Riley Moss may have been holding Troy Franklin on that play. But I'm not here to talk about the Bo Nix interception, but I'm here to talk about Talanoa Hufanga, which, as we know, Johnny has been on it so far. Johnny's called Bailey the breakout player on the game show. Mile High Madness, I think he said it was. What did you call it? What was it called, Johnny? Broncos Media Battles. He said Bailey, but he also did a whole thing on the Onion Blue Network about Talanoa Hufanga being one of his off-season acquisitions. And how that was going to be his favorite guy. So now the fact that Talanoa Hufanga won, it seems that he fits in perfect. He's high energy. He's all over the field. And he's literally allowing Brandon Jones to do what Brandon Jones does. And they're saying you can see him. He's all over the field. You feel his presence. And not only that, but he's stepping up and he's getting interceptions. So he's learning the defense. He's applying his instincts already. And he's healthy. Paul says, PS2 seems excited too. Yes, I think because like Bo Nix, PS2 got help. He got help. He doesn't have to sit there and try and do everything by himself. And now he can see, okay, we got Jahdae Barron, which we haven't heard much about. That I cannot wait to hear more about him in mandatory minicamp because I need to know how he looks on that defense. I'm more excited for defense than I am for offense. I'm excited for both, but I really want to see this defense. But yeah, PS2, Talanoa Hufanga. So now this defensive pieces are all coming together. They're all starting to form, and they're all starting to come together. And now Dre Greenlaw was on the side field. Alex Singleton had an interview yesterday, and he said he's going to be out there for training camp. So both inside linebackers they're watching film together, they're training together. Both inside linebackers are going to come together on the field at training camp. And the whole defense that's projected to be the number one defense will all be healthy for training camp. Now, I think Alex Singleton also said, I'm 31-32 with an ACL. I doubt I'm going to play much preseason. That's okay. I want those guys. If Alex Singleton doesn't play any preseason games, I'm okay because he's coming off an ACL. I want to see Dre Greenlaw play preseason because, one, he's learning the new system, and two, Alex Singleton is actually in OTAs and actually running around with a team. Dre Greenlaw's not, so maybe I want to see a drive or two in 2 games from Greenlaw. But yeah, I'm excited with Talanoa Hufanga picking off Bo Nix. It's starting to see he's picking up the offense, and they're getting into it. Next week, mandatory minicamp, we got the media out there every day. We have press conferences every day. So there's going to be videos, snippets all over here. You guys are going to want to be here for that. And that's why you guys have to hit that notification bell. If you're from MHRT, like this video, subscribe to our channel, hit the thumbs up. And share it. And if you're from Orange and Blue Network, you got to go to MHRT and hit their notification bell because you don't want to miss any of these videos. If you're like me, and you're in this preseason time and you're at work bored or whatever you're doing, you're like, I'm sick of scrolling through Twitter because when Broncos news are slim, then it's filled with NBA stuff or whatever, or Jaguars and Cleveland news. And yeah, football's football, but you want Broncos stuff. Right? You want Broncos content. So you got to hit that notification bell so that way we're in that dead period. You have the Orange and Blue Blitz morning show, and then you have the other shows, which we're getting ready to bring up right here. And this is why you have to hit the notification bell. All these times are in Mountain Time. Look at this, guys. So Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. is the Orange and Blue Blitz morning show. 11 a.m. Mountain Time. Mondays at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, we have 2 shows. We got the Broncos Bros with Dak and his brother. On Tuesdays at 7 p.m., we had the flagship Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue. That's the original OG name with the OG logo. Tuesdays at 7 p.m. On Wednesdays, we have Broncos Talk with Adon. Wednesday at 6 p.m. On Fridays, we have Viva Los Broncos, our Spanish show with Adon and Broncos Libre. So if you know any Spanish speakers who are Broncos fans, that's the show. You got to hit the notification bell for that. You got to like and subscribe for that. And then we have our breaking news show. For example, if J.K. Dobbins gets signed, you're going to have an Orange and Blue, the Orange and Blue Fresh Squeeze, the breaking news show. That is why you hit the notification bell. And then every game day, 1 hour before kickoff, we have the Get Fucked Game Day show, which is hosted by me. And then every game day right after game day, you have the Buck Your Feelings postgame show with Jay, with the Denver Dream. So we have all these shows coming up. So that's what? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shows. 8 shows on the network, guys. So this is why we need you guys to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that thumbs up, guys, because you don't want to miss any of these shows we got going on. Look at this, guys. Are you telling me you don't want to wake up at 11 a.m. Mountain Time and look at my face and hear my voice? Don't worry, I won't be offended because you're a liar. Because you're a liar. But that's why you got to hit the notification bell, because this is going to come in handy. It's going to be great because we're coming up after mandatory minicamp. We have 6 weeks of silence. The sound of silence. My old friend. But we're going to be here to make noise to interrupt that silence. And we need you guys here for that, because you guys drive the comment section. You guys drive the show. And we love you guys. So what are we, before we close out, Paul Schaefer says, I love Bronco Libre and English Viva Los Broncos. And we love you, Paul. And we'll make sure that they have the message. And we love you, Paul. What am I expecting from mandatory minicamp? What am I expecting to see? What am I expecting to hear? I'm going to give one offense, and I'm going to give one defense. Evan Ingram on offense, Johnny Barron on defense. To me, because Greenlaw's not going to be there, we're hearing a little about Solomon Fungo, like he had an interception. So we're hearing about it. I haven't heard anything about Johnny Barron. I want to know about, coincidentally, the jokers on both offense and defense. That's what I want to hear about. I want to hear about the jokers on offense and defense. Now, I've heard Alex Stevenson said Evan Ingram is a freak athlete, and he's absolutely killing it out there. But I want to know about the joker on offense, Evan Ingram. I want to know about the joker on defense, Johnny Barron. Sean Payton said yesterday, Michael Ronquillo, salute, Mile High salute. What's up, brother? Sean Payton said yesterday that his vision for, they asked, is if he sees Johnny Barron like Malcolm Jenkins, where he can play safety too. And he was originally a slot, and Sean Payton said, well, that's not my vision for him, although he could if in a pinch, but the vision is inside and outside. I need to know, and he said he made an emphasis on his instincts and his smart IQ play, and he said himself, because he's so smart, I can actually give him more. Which says to me, I wouldn't use the word mastered, but he's pretty much got one or the other down really well. And so now it's to the point where, like, he's so good and he's so smart. I can give it to him both. We can give it to him both on defense. So I want to hear about him, his production. Is he out there making plays? Is he got sticky coverage? Are they picking on him? Or is he one of those guys where, like, you just don't want to target him? And then on the offensive side, I want to hear about Evan Ingram. You can't really know about the running backs until the pads come on, so now you really know about, and I guess with OTAs, they're more focusing on pass catching, which makes sense. When you got the pads on, you want to run the ball more. Right now in shells, hey, get as much reps as you can on ball, catching the ball. But I want to hear about Evan Ingram. How is he doing as a mismatch? Because if you put a linebacker on him, he's too fast for a linebacker. He's about the same size as a linebacker, but he's too fast for a linebacker. That's a mismatch. If he lines up outside the numbers, he's too big for a corner. Because he runs a 4.4, but he's also 6'3", 240. So he's too fast for a linebacker with the 4.4, too big for a corner at 6'3", 240. And the only one that could really guard Evan Ingram well would be a safety. But if you bring the safety down, that means that leaves someone else open. This is what I want to start hearing about. I want to start hearing about that connection with Evan Ingram. I want you to development as Caden Kidd as a gold zone target. Caden Kidd, is that the undrafted free agent with the freak RAS score? The what is he, 6'4"? Runs a 4.36. Is that him? Is that who you're referring to? Let me know in the comments. 4.5, low 4.5. His legs haven't really been the issue. It's more been upper body, but low 4.5, high 4.4. Still, I mean, he's still the fastest tight end ever come from the draft. And he's still got that speed and quickness. Yeah, I want to see. See, here's the thing, man. We'd only see him in the preseason if he makes the team. I think with that RAS score, yeah, you put him on the practice squad. and you let that dude develop. Also, A.T. Perry might be demanding a trade because he hasn't shown up to OTAs. I don't know why he would not. I think if I were him, I'd demand a trade because don't know the full story, but if I'm from the outside in, if I'm A.T. Perry, I'm kind of slighted by the Broncos because you brought me from the Saints where I was on the practice squad. You brought me in, whatever it is, you sold me on the vision, signed, never get an elevation. Year 2 with you, you drafted another receiver, and the receiver room is deep. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if A.T. Perry gets cut or if he requests a trade. Just because I just don't think that – I think he's slighted a little bit. And Paul says AT's blowing it, and then Holy Diver says AT's in a good spot. Wide receiver 6. 5 will be Bryant. Yes, I think he has a good spot to be. But is wide receiver – so you're saying A.T. Perry, if he's wide receiver 6 this year, he won't be on the practice squad, but he'll be on the 53? Yeah. Yeah. Paul says AT could slide in the Franklin spot. They will sit on him. The question is not whether or not they'll sit on him. The question is whether AT wants to be sat on. Because remember, the Saints were going to sit on. Well, the Saints kind of moved him because he didn't fit. But A.T. Perry fits, but he's still not getting any chances. So, yeah, I think he can come in as a wide receiver 6. Unless Caden Kidd, the undrafted agent with the freak athletic sport, shows up. But A.T. Perry has the benefit of being in the NFL and actually putting film on tape on the field and knowing the system. Yeah, I don't know why he's not here. I think if he's at mandatory minicamp, that's good. And I think he really has the potential. I think preseason is going to be it. I wouldn't be surprised if we signed him and we flipped him for like a 7th or 6th. If he did well in the preseason, we trade him for like a 7th or a 6th. I wouldn't be surprised at that at all. But yeah, so Jahdae Barron, Evan Ingram, those are the 2 I want to see more and I want to hear more about. There's a possibility. I don't know how that will work on the defensive side, but there's a possibility with Sean Payton on a media day he doesn't use Evan Ingram more just because it's media day. But remember, we're not there for the other. I think there's been 6 days of OTAs total in 2 weeks. We've only seen 2 days. So the other 4 days, Evan Ingram and Jahdae may have been doing well. We just didn't hear anything about it. But I expect that to change next week because I think Jahdae Barron in a slot is the X factor on this defense. Obviously, Dre Greenlaw being healthy as a middle linebacker. I think Jahdae Barron being able to stop people from hiding receivers from Surtain or himself being a shutdown can actually take the secondary to no-fly zone. I think the secondary becoming no-fly zone is dependent on Riley Moss being healthy and Jahdae Barron really performing as a first-round pick. I think this offense, we finished 10th in scoring offense with no receiver, with no tight ends and no run game. So Evan Ingram is going to do a lot more for our team than we think and imagine. There's a possibility that he's the best route running tight end in the NFL. And I think we just don't know yet because this is new to us. So I'm really excited to hear. I'm really excited for the season to start. I'm really excited to hear about him. I'm really excited for the season to start. I'm ready for week 1. I'm ready for week 1. Also, guys, we're going to be having a show during that time period. One show is going to be one show is going to be what games are you going to and what jerseys are you wearing, and then another show. Yeah, that's going to be one show. Is what games are you going to? So we're going to put up the schedule and we'll go down and we're going to talk. We're going to see. I'm going to talk about the games that I'm going to try to go to. Johnny's going to try to go to. Everyone on the network, and then we're going to see what games you guys are going to in the comments. So that way we can maybe link up with some of you guys. So it's always good to meet you guys, and because like I said, we're here for you guys. This is a fan-led network. It's always been that way from the beginning, and it always will be that way. So it's absolutely an honor and a pleasure and a privilege to meet some of you guys. So wherever you guys are, because Broncos Country is not a geographic location, but it's a state of mind. Is that an MHH saying or is that a Broncos saying? I don't want to use it if it belongs on the podcast. But you guys know we're everywhere, so we want to meet some of you guys. And so the last segment before we close out is with J.K. Dobbins coming in. Which running back do you think that affects the most? And so from what I'm hearing is that it's not Jaleel. Also, two things. Estime was running with the thirds yesterday, and Blake Watson was on the side field. And Sean Payton made an effort to say that Tyler Burdett is a pretty good pass protector. I don't know what any of this means for the running back room. I have no idea. So you have R.J. Harvey, who's going to make the team. And I think Jaleel McLaughlin. I think those two running backs are locks. Unless Tyler Burdett is really good, unless Tyler Burdett can really step up, because we know Tyler Burdett can catch. But if he's a good pass protector, and Tyler Burdett actually emerges, Jaleel's in trouble. If Tyler Burdett emerges, okay, let me rephrase. There's only one safe running back, R.J. Harvey. R.J. Harvey is the only safe running back because you bring in J.K. Dobbins, and I think that's more of an estimate replacement. And so you still have J.K. Dobbins as an estimate replacement, Harvey, and then Jaleel. Sean Payton said that yesterday Tyler Burdett is a pretty damn good pass blocker. So he can catch at the back. Because remember, Tyler Burdett's first play in the NFL was a catch for a touchdown at the backfield. So we know he can catch at the backfield, and we know he can produce. We know he can run in between the tackles. So what if the running back room right now is RJ, Estime, Jaleel, but what if it ends up being JK, RJ, and Tyler Burdett? Almost sounds redundant. Now that I think about it, because Tyler Burdett is a good pass protector. RJ Harvey is the change of pace back, and Dobbins can protect. Burdett's almost a redundant, but that's a good depth piece because Burdett can run, Burdett can catch, and he can pass block. So right now, it sounds like he could be the most versatile running back we have in this room. Michael Ronquillo says, wide receiver Cortland Sutton, wide receiver Devon Bailey, Marvin Mims, Troy Fink, and Pat Bryant. Those are my top 5 receivers making the 50-man roster for the Broncos office. So the question is, do we carry 5 receivers or do we carry 6? I like what Holy Diver said earlier. This goes with what you said hand in hand. A.T. Perry's in a good spot to be number 6 wide receiver, which means he makes the 53. So if Michael's 5 wide receivers are legit, and they are, this is the 5. So he says they carry 5 receivers. Holy Diver says they carry 6. How many did they carry? I think they carried 6 last year. But I'm pretty sure. I think they'll carry 6. And if they carry 6, I think that's good. And if they carry 6 and they give A.T. Perry a roster spot, that means that Sean Payton and George Payton kept their word with A.T. Perry. And that means that he can get some rotational pieces in that, and I like that. I really like that. And I really want him to be wide receiver 6. But yes, Sutton, Bailey, Mims, Franklin, Bryant, yes, are definitely the 5. Definitely the 5. Yeah, that's an interesting running back room. I think it's a good depth to have Tyler Burdett because Sean Payton said last year he doesn't want to use the committee. It didn't work. The tandem is better. So if you got thunder and lightning, power and speed with Dobbins and Harvey, it's pretty cool to throw. It's pretty cool to extend. Not extend because I saw D-Rock's comment. It's pretty cool to have Tyler Burdett as running back 3 who can actually do all 3 of those things. He can run, he can catch, he can block. So there's no tell, and so he can do whatever you need him to do. And I think that may end up being with the emergence of him as a pass blocker. That's huge. He may have, and Blake, remember, SMA was with the 3s. Blake Watson was on the side field, and J.K. Dobbins was in the building. So Tyler Burdett may have jumped a couple roster spots to running back 3. Like I said, if Tyler Burdett can emerge as a pass protector, and he's been in the system for the last couple years, so he knows the offense. Don't be surprised if we bring in J.K. Dobbins, Estime, Jaleel. Yes, if Estime and Jaleel are no longer on the Broncos, because it would be Dobbins, Harvey, Bidet, Dressing, Blake Watson on the practice squad. Now, do they call it carry 4 running backs? Because you have Michael Burton, possibly carry 4 running backs, 6 wide receivers. Nate Atkins can be considered a tight end. He can also play special teams too. And so I think you carry 3 tight ends. I think you carry Ingram, Troutman, and I think you carry Atkins. And I think Kroll, if he's not cut, goes to practice squad. And one of the shows we'll do a preliminary roster too, a preliminary 53 roster. So far off the top of my head, I have 4 backs, 6 receivers, 3 tight ends. So what is that? 13. 13. So then you carry, how many DBs do you carry? 6 DBs. So then you're at 19. Carry 4 safeties. You're at 23. How many offensive line do you carry? 8. 8. So then you'd have 31. And then how many defensive linemen do you carry? You carry the front 4, maybe 7. You'd have Savion Jones, Malcolm Roach. No, you have your edge rushers too, Tillman, Ellis. So you probably 8. You probably carry 8. So then we are at 39, and then what do you carry? 4 linebackers. So now you're at 42. 40. Yeah, 42, and then you have 11. And that's special teams. So then that makes out your 53-man roster right there. And so now the question is, what linemen are those? It's probably going to be Parrott. So you got the first 5. Then you got Parrott, Palchevsky, which makes 7 offensive linemen, and then you're going to want an interior offensive lineman in there. Is that Forsyth? Is that Garugolo? Or does Clay Webb step up and earn that? But I think it'll be more likely to be Forsyth. Leroy says they better extend 80-20 Sutton. Yes, he's earned every bit of it, and I think Sutton can go for 1,400 yards because we have more weapons. What if AT turned into T.O. attitude and all? If he's producing like T.O., I don't care. If he's producing like Terrell Owens, I don't care. And so then you got the 8 offensive linemen, and you can carry. We just went over the 4 running backs, the 6 wide receivers, the 3 tight ends, defensive linemen: Malcolm Roach, Jonah Ellis, Dondre Tillman, and then Savion Jones. And then some of these guys also play special teams, so they some of them are redundant linebackers. Sternad, Sanders, Singleton, Greenlaw. And that's what I say, 6 DBs. So then you have Sertan, Moss, Barron, Jaquan, Chris Abrams-Drain, and Damari Mathis. So then you got 6 DBs right there. And then you carry 4 safeties: Hufanga, Jones, Skinner, and PJ Locke. So, we were just talking about Caden Kidd, who's one of those free agent receivers, 4'3", 44-inch vertical. That's an insane athletic. I can't stop. A 4'3", and a 44-inch vertical, and I think he's like 6'4". You got to find a way to get that dude on the field. But also one of the undrafted offensive linemen, Clay Webb, could also make the roster. And that's why I say this between, it could be, because you're going to want Parrott, Palchevsky, so you got a swing tackle, but you also have one to back up the other. But then you also want an interior offensive lineman that can play center, guard. And so you have Alex Forsyth who can do that, and you also have Clay Webb who can do that. So that's definitely going to figure out where that's at. No throw zone, exactly. Guys, once again, we are getting ready to close out. I said that earlier, but we're actually going to close out. We're coming up an hour. I got to get to the gym. If you're from MHRT, go head over to Orange and Blue Network. Subscribe to our YouTube. Share this video with your friends and family. Like, subscribe, and comment. If you're from Orange and Blue, go head over to MHRT. Hit the notification bell. You guys, once again, are going to be critical in that 6 weeks of silence. So, guys, don't forget to follow MHRT on Facebook and Twitch. Twitter, and YouTube as well, guys. Once again, don't forget that these are our upcoming shows. So tomorrow's Friday, so we will not have an Orange and Blue Blitz morning show unless I feel like it. We might. But if not, it's Monday through Friday. And then what's today? Friday. Today, also at 6, you have Viva Los Broncos tonight at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, which is also 7 p.m. Central Time. So guys, you're not going to want to miss that. So go ahead and hit that notification bell. Also, Johnny, excellent job on the schedule card, because this is wonderful. Because like I said, we had way too many shows to try and remember, but this is perfect. This is excellent. 2 for 2, Johnny. Excellent intro, excellent placard. You deserve a raise. Get that man a raise. So guys, you guys want to hit the notification bell so that way you guys don't forget that. What's say? Yes, sir. Mile High Salute, guys. I will be seeing y'all on Twitter. Maybe I might see y'all tomorrow. Paul Schaefer, Mile High Salute to you. Appreciate you as always joining the chat. David Yunkin, shout out to David Yunkin, who was here earlier in the podcast for his first time. Everybody, make sure you guys give him a cheers. Orange and Brew Crew, cheers, and a Mile High Salute for being the first time. And thank you guys, Holy Diver, David Yunkin, Johnny, D-Rock, Paul Schaefer, all you guys who are in the comment section today who drove it, Michael Ranquillo, all you guys who are in who drove the show. You guys are always awesome. And we're gonna see if we can. I'm gonna talk to Johnny, see if we can do some giveaways. Because you guys are loyal and you guys are here and we love you guys, and there's no reason why we don't have anything for you guys or any giveaways for you guys. So we may just have to dig in our own pockets and see if we can get you guys a giveaway, because we see you guys' names in every one of our shows. And don't think that means nothing to us, because that means everything to us. We started this for you guys, and you guys have helped us grow more than you guys can know. So there's no reason why we can't do a giveaway or something like that. So that's definitely something that's going to be in the works. If there is no show tomorrow, there will be a show again starting back Monday, the day before mandatory minicamp starts, and we will have the expectations for mandatory minicamp, who you want to see, and we might have another couple other topics too as well. But guys, thank you guys all for being here. Thank you guys for liking this video, subscribing to this channel, and being a fan of Broncos Country. Broncos Country, Mile High Salute. We love you all, and we will definitely see you guys.